Two different states attempting to outlaw abortion failed in their efforts to do so, which has sort of been a theme, not always. They are in some states, bans have been passed, even though they're wildly unpopular. But a number have failed, both in terms of the legislation as well as attempts to appeal directly to the population of the state. So let's talk about South Carolina. Let's talk about Nebraska, both, by the way, dominated by Republicans, the most important probably aspect of this. So a near total abortion ban failed to pass in South Carolina Senate by 22 votes to 21. That was the third time such a measure hasn't passed in a chamber that's led by the Republicans since they destroyed Roe v. Wade last year. In the Nebraska legislature, a bill proposing to ban abortions at 6 weeks fell 1 vote short of the required 33 votes to break a filibuster. So they were still close, obviously, but credit to the people who helped stop this from happening. In South Carolina, you had five Senate women who filibustered the bill as long as they could. State Senator Perry Gustafson said she was pro-life, but said there was, quote, no room for empathy, reality, or graciousness in the bill. So we're not just talking about like, the fact that, oh, thank God the legislature was filled up with people who believe that abortion should be right. There are people who, under certain circumstances, might be willing to strip it away, but even they thought that this was going too far. Senator Sandy Senn compared the measure that they were trying to pass to the Handmaid's Tale. Again, these are Republicans. As she said, abortion laws, quote, have always been, each and every one of them, about control, plain and simple. And in the Senate, the males have all of the control. So look, the bill has to be pretty bad for a Republican woman to be the one to make that comparison, which we've heard many times, but generally not from Republicans over the last couple of years. And then to point out that this is like a patriarchal, attempt to usurp control by Republican men. So thankfully they did fail. We'll give you details on the other one, but Brett, what do you think?
This proves that even Nebraska Republicans and South Carolina Republicans think Ted Cruz is insane. Recently, Ted Cruz is trying out the old talking point that the Republicans should stake everything on making abortion illegal, basically, by this weird logic that says the Democrats are out of step with the vast majority of American people. He lies and says that the Democrats want to birth babies and then abort them. But the takeaway from that is Ted Cruz thinks that fighting against the right to choose is a big winner still for the Republicans. And the folks on the ground in various states that don't have a senator that's been there for 1 billion years, the state legislatures, even in states that you think this would be a slam dunk for, by the way, Ted Cruz is talking, are like, nobody, you are insane.
Yeah.
We still have to win elections, and we know we can't do that. Nebraska and South Carolina are added to the list that already includes Kansas, where when you ask kind of normal people, they say, no, there's no way. And that is spreading to the state legislatures, which are now having states as red as Nebraska and South Carolina go like, bro, yeah, I'm not gonna touch that with a 10-foot coat hanger.
With Republicans losing election after election around the country, largely for their insane, radically out of step positions on issues like abortion, I think more and more Republicans are starting to get worried about where this is leading. And one of them is Ann Coulter, who warned Republicans, saying the demand for anti-abortion legislation just cost Republicans another crucial race. That's the Wisconsin State Supreme Court race that we talked about yesterday on the show. Pro-lifers, we won. Abortion is not a constitutional right anymore. Please stop pushing strict limits on abortion or there will be no Republicans left. So that is simultaneously a couple of different things. One, is it good political advice? I think almost certainly, because she admits what so many Republicans pretend to not understand, that their position on abortion is not popular. It has never been popular in living memory. People do not support it. And to the extent that they know this is what Republicans are trying to do, they oppose the Republicans. So I think that she's accurate there. It also, by the way, reveals how little does Ann Coulter clearly care about pro-life legislation in the movement. No, it was a convenient thing. We got it. Like, can we move on now? I don't care about the limitations or whatever. I don't care about this topic that me and people like me have used as a political weapon for decades. It was all a scam. They believe that the religious right are rubes and they used them. Ann Coulter doesn't care if a random 18-year-old is forced to bear a child in Tennessee. She cares about what her taxes are. And she used the former to make sure that the latter was low. That's all this is. What do you think, Waz?
Yeah, Ann Coulter is not a poor person. We know that, so we know where her interests lie. But also, I think she understands that like the playbook that wins is racism, the anti-immigrant stuff. Let's stick to the playbook, guys. It's been working for 50 years now, right? We kicked all these country club people out of the party 50 years ago. All of these quote unquote Rockefeller Republicans and moderates, we're done with that. But we got the party we want. It's all xenophobia, racism, anti-immigration. Stick to the basics, John. Stop with this abortion crap. This is stuff that people actually care about. Stick to the basics, stick to the racism.